show flashes of brilliance, but doing it over and over again is hard. I have been hearing very good talk about scrim results for Spicy, though, so Spicy still has the possibility to come out here and really surprise us. You take a look at a player like Dreamcasper, there's a point where he still might be top 10 on the in-game ladder. He's one of the new young pickups, or of your Crusher 99 story for the Spicy boys, so you're going to watch him come out here should be good. And Hex, what are we looking at here in terms of team compositions? Is anything shocking you right now in either the offense or the defense?
Well, I'm not really
the defense, because the offense can completely swap.
I have no idea what they're actually going to run. I'm not shocked anymore to see Symmetro. We've just seen her be so powerful on these maps, especially hybrid maps where first point holds can be a thing, and if you can keep her alive, you get either the shield gen or teleporter. Though lately, teams have been opting much more for the teleporter. We thought shield gen was going to be the default pick, but for the most part, they're going to put their hit scan god onto Soldier 76. We'll see where he wants to set up, and then really it's all about holding this first attack.
All right, and we take a look at the offenses they're setting up here. They are going with a much more standard composition. It's going to be Reinhardt, Roadhog, D.Va, and Azaria. So you have the quad tank backed up by the classic two supports in Ana and Lucio. So Spicy Boys not really going to innovate things here, but is going for what is the standard power composition of this meta thus far. And a lot's going to depend here on Dreamcasper. We'll see if he can land an early hook to let Spicy Boys go in here. Otherwise, they're going to have to play the shield battle. Well,
they are winning the shield battle early on. They do get a nice hook in onto the D.Va as they come in, but now they're cleaning it up as Desro goes down early. That is huge to lose your Reinhardt that early.
It is really big. Dreamcasper going off has 2, makes it 3, and now 4 unanswered kills here for the side of Spicy Boys. That's going to give them the clean take they need to get this point and keep things moving forward, and they're going to have ult momentum as well. The teleporter does go down in the back, but you look at Spicy Boys, they know it's down, they're getting on top of it, and all you're seeing here from the defense is actually more feeding into the offense. They gave them even more ultimate charge just by taking the teleporter. Bit of a mistake.
That's about as clean as you can have it going, and we talked a little bit in the pregame off-stream that we wanted to see what Casper was going to be up to. That is a good sign for things to come for him, as he just wrecked through them on his Roadhog. Obviously, the symmetric gambit not working out, and now they're really on the back foot.
Absolutely, and that's the problem. You lose point A that decisively, is that the other team can come in with a lot of momentum to their name. Luckily, the defense doesn't have to worry about a Graviton here just yet, but still they're going to have to worry about the Nan and all the rest of it. And we do have an early hook coming out here to start things out. Spicy Boys on the Earth Shatter, holding back. And for now, they're just getting the payload moving forward. They don't have to worry about too much else. The defense is being a little bit aggressive, doesn't get it. Earth Shatter comes down, hits absolutely nothing. But this is an opportunity for the defense to come back in. Dreamcasper, though, the early pick on the Desro, is pulling it back, has 2 kills here once more, looking for another early pickoff, and with 3 unanswered kills, Spicy Boys really has Rise Nation on the ropes.
This has been absolutely relentless. They are not giving them a second to breathe or set up. Early on, Sickness just dove the second roof and caused 3 people to give all of the undivided attention to him. He did get demeched, but didn't die, and then while they were trying to kind of re-establish themselves as defense, they just dropped in a whole hog, and they're not giving them a chance to start running set pieces or fight as a team.
Well, here comes Tig, Graviton Surge on the way. 4 people are going to get sucked right into that, and there's D.Va self-destruct in the backline. Goodbye and good night. 4 kills from Sickness off of the setup by Tig, and this momentum train coming out from Spicy is absolutely not stopping right now. Thus far, Rise has not been able to find a solution, and really, they've just been on the back foot the entire time.
Have they been able to find a kill thus far? It has been all Spicy Boys, like 100%. Now, they did have to burn their last couple ultimates to get through this point, but it has been non-stop aggression for them. They have to find something here, and it has to be with some of these tank ults here. They have to win a fight. So far, they've not even gotten a kill, has Rise.
Well, Rise did well. Midnight used to have a very good Zarya. He's going to look for a play right here. Graviton in the backline, going to set up 2 kills, and this will at least give Rise Nation really their first major team fight win, their first breather in all likelihood. Dreamcasper trying to pull it back, but fortunately, very outnumbered here, and Midnight has done his duty, but they had used a Graviton for that team fight win here, Hex, and it seems like, and tell me your opinion on this, do you think they've really been struggling to win this on a mechanical level right now?
I think they were just a little overwhelmed. Again, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt as far as first game of the day, things like that, but it was totally one-sided. They have brought the percentages back in their advantage as well. So now if they can stabilize again, maybe Desro hits Earth Shatter, a really nice deflect on that Earth Shatter, does not get anything out of it, gets his own, Tig is on the ground, so Dreamcasper is still lighting people up though.
Dreamcasper has been arguably the most impactful person right here for Spicy Boys, still looking for another pickoff right now, going in on the 76. Attack flies are about to run out here, so he's not going to be able to live here. He's doing his best just to hang in there. But while they were focusing on him, Midnight was able to come in from the back, picked up 2, and Dreamcasper now not going to be able to pull it back in. And I'd say here, for the side of Rise, at the very least, Midnight has been finding situations to really pierce through and keep Rise in this. And you look at Hollywood Blast in general, it's one of the harder points to get momentum on as an offense.
Well, that's the second grab in as many fights, so Midnight putting the team absolutely on his back right now. Now they're going to take it to the third alleyway here, and as the fight commences, there's a opposing graviton, but the sound barrier is right in place.
The sound barrier is going to mitigate a whole lot of that. And Desert right now in the backline has the Earth Shatter, might not even need to use it. Not much on him right now. With 2 pickoffs, Rise is just able to roll right back into them and clean this up. And I'd say a big difference too, just over the last minute or two, is that early on in this game, Dreamcasper was able to open up every fight with a hook that favored Spicy Boys. I think Rise has adjusted a little bit. They've gone out of their way to just position themselves so that doesn't happen as frequently.
Well, a lot of this too is just getting to know each other, right? These teams don't have a long history of playing against each other. I'm not entirely sure how often they've scrimmed together, but I think a lot of that early momentum was just being, taking a punch to the face and trying to recover. They've recovered really well. Midnight with another grab.
Midnight's been building up Graviton super quickly. The Graviton sets up things perfectly. X-Retzi comes in from the back of the Pulse Bomb fall through, and Desro didn't even have to drop the Earth Shatter there. He was willing to do so, but hey, if the Big Bang combo's taken out too, why bother?
Yeah, the ult company's been pretty solid for them. They've been rotating, either running a grab or an Earth Shatter pretty much every single fight. That's what they have set up here for the next one as well. Casper's been getting a couple kills, but they've been largely inconsequential here as they set up for yet another fight. 2.5 minutes left to finish out this map for Spicy.
Still plenty of time here for Spicy, but they've definitely given away most of their bonus time here, so they're gonna have to look for Spicy rather than later. Early hook here on the Desro, but he's able to pull back, gets sealed up by Azana. Not going to be the pickoff that Spicy Boys is looking for. Meanwhile, Desro, you gotta think the Earth Shadow is gonna be coming out soon here. His shield is down, he's just waiting for the opportunity, and Dreamcasper a little bit too far out. Gets picked off.
Oh,
Sickness. The Diva self-destruct leads away, but there's the Earth Shatter, knocks down 3. Desro going to town. Midnight with the follow through. It is back and forth, but in the end, Rise has done enough to push back Spicy Boys once more. And Hex, I'm seeing a change up here from Rise. What have they done to really reverse momentum here?
I think they're just taking away angles, and they're letting the aggressiveness of Spicy, which won them the first 2 points rather easily, get them into odd situations where they're not necessarily running together. They said, if you want to dive us this hard with a Diva, if you want to try to get these cheeky flanking hooks with your Roadhog, then we're going to punish you for it. So they've really adjusted to the aggressive nature of Spicy coming out here. Dream is now off that Roadhog. Here's another grab from Midnight.
Midnight just mopping up, gets 4 people in that Graviton, and there's just nothing that can be done from the side of Spicy there. They didn't have anything they could do in reaction. Frankly, you can't have people that close together when you know Midnight has been building ult in fight after fight. 75% energy right now. We still gonna have a lot of that going to the next fight here, Hex.
Well, and now they're stagger it again, because Desro's gonna have Earth Shatter up for this next fight. If you have either a grab or an Earth Shatter up for every single fight, it makes the offensive push very, very difficult. Retzi's been bopping all over the place. He's now off the Tracer onto the 76 again. He didn't have a whole lot of success early on 76.
Alright, Tig right now gonna be looking to pull his own Midnight Air, holding on to a Graviton, has to be worried about how to place this here, and unfortunately doesn't see an opportunity. They already lose Reinhardt. He's gonna go for the grab late in the fight, but this is dangerous. The follow-up isn't there. He's already lost a big backbone of the people with him, and Hex, it just feels like that grab was a bit of a waste.
Yeah, that grab didn't get anything. It only got 2 in it, and they had a Biotic Field down, and Spirit was actually blocking the 76, so he just took a breather and was tanked up all that damage. Now they're going to come in. The whole hug comes out for Spirit, perhaps a little too aggressive here. Gets nothing for it, changes the positioning a little bit, but now 30 seconds left. This is do or die for Spicy Boys.
This is the final opportunity for Spicy Boys, but guess what? They're going to have to go through another Graviton here by Midnight. There's a Graviton, pulls in 4 again, and here comes Reinhardt swinging around, mopping up and doing a lot of damage to anyone that was caught in that. Doesn't immediately get the kills you might have been looking for, but softens up Spicy Boys enough that they're not really able to make as much for this push as they would want.
A Graviton into yet another Earth Shatter. The tank play, which was a question that we had for this Rise Nation team coming in, has really stepped it up. Now it is down to a bit of a scrappy engagement at the final run of it here as Spicy tries to stay alive in overtime.
Well, you have Dreamcasper here, the Hail Mary Tracer coming out, and Tracer is the character of miracles. It is a character where sometimes you can clean up and keep things going. He gets one early on, does have Pulse Bomb the flop, the Scrab is just trying to get onto the back line. Not able to get on Mock here just yet, though. Finally does get him, and Hex, do miracles happen? The Tracer and Dreamcasper here doing a lot to just at least give a chance for Spicy Boys to bring this back.
They're turning it around. They've definitely gotten the better side of the kill feed lately, although they do have to continue coordinating for the last bunch of pushes. I don't know if I can pause here, really.
Okay, we do need a... Who is the lobby leader?
It's mid-fight. I can't...
Yeah. Bisman fight. So Casper right now still going in on this Tracer, getting pickoff after pickoff in the back line. And Spicy Boys, perhaps due to a disconnect at the very end, unfortunately, not able to hold, but they do drain the entire bit of time.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Spo, but one of the reasons we give admins and things like that the pauses, because we've had issues before where people are pausing in the middle of games, middle of big fights, and so it is up to our discretion. It was just way too close to pause there. I don't know. What do you think, ZP? Did I do wrong?
I mean, I see both sides to pausing in the middle like that.
It's rough. Like,
well, we do need a pause now as he is disconnected.
Yeah. Ah, man, so much stress early on. Like, I'm just trying to get back into my casting groove, and then to have that thrust on me at the end is a decision to make. Man, I'm not up for this.
All right, so as we are waiting here for the reconnect to come in here, Slasher, you were watching that game. What stood out to you? First, I want to bring a question to you. The early opening coming out from the side of Spicy Boys, where Rise was really caught off guard, and then, of course, Rise coming in and re-solidifying. To both those points, how did that all come about?
First, I would say that Dream Casper had a pretty good debut there. Almost helped carry his team through the first 2 points. I think really, if you play the Symmetra single support defense that we've been watching maybe the last month since the Symmetra rework, if you do lose the first point, there is potential for offense to snowball you because you also don't have the secondary support who never got an ult charge. So you're always going to be down on either usually the Lucio ult and or Zen, and because of that, we saw what would happen. They die, you're down on ult charge, and then you're able to have Spicy kind of roll through Rise to the very last point. But then Midnight, did have a better game so far than Tig, and you can see just how well he is playing Zarya. I mean, at first he wasn't able to get much done because of sickness. Playing Diva and Spicy playing quad tank is still going to be a very formidable composition right now, as we've seen other teams, even though mainly they run triple tank and sometimes we've seen 2-2-2. 4 tank right now is still a very great thing to run, and it makes it very difficult. The silver lining, I think, in this game, as we saw Tracy switch out, and as we've seen over the last maybe few weeks, is that Tracer has become a pretty good counter to the quad and or triple tank play, and at Tracy at Midnight, did a whole lot of work, so much so that it forced Dreamcatcher to try to go McCree, which didn't work. And then that allowed Threatsy to go Soldier, and then Dream countered after to go Tracer. But after 4 or 5 minutes of being stopped, they were only able to get it, at the very end right there.
So going now to the topic of Midnight, because I feel like Midnight really was a player to watch on the side of Rise. It's interesting because you look at Rise throughout time, when they were really on top of it, Midnight was a Zarya player, backed up by Spirit on a Genji, backed up by X-Retzy on McCree and all the rest. And then when Rise is at their lowest, I feel like there was points during, say, MLG Vegas where Midnight wasn't on Zarya. They swapped up who was on Zarya. I think they put Spirit on it from time to time. How important is Midnight right now to this Rise squad, especially as other people are still really looking to reclaim their former glory? Hex, what do you think?
I think that the only reason they ended up pulling that back was just Midnight doing as much damage as he did. I think a lot of it, as I mentioned earlier, was taking advantage of kind of those aggressive natures play, and knowing that there's going to be a flank from this Roadhog left or right, but then just kind of jumping on him as Midnight. He had his bubble on him a lot of the time to get that damage up, but the fact that he had Gravitons up every single fight, I mean, we've talked a lot about Harblue lately, just shining on Zarya doing that much damage, but Midnight put on an epic Zarya performance that they were able to stagger 2 of the most important ultimates in the game in both Earthshatter and Graviton. Every single fight for 5 minutes. That's just, it's almost an unbeatable defensive composition because they were both staying alive and both doing so much damage.
Well, the interesting thing, too, about Midnight is that not every Zarya is able to build up that level of charge that quickly. I will give some examples of Zaryas that do. Cool Matt certainly does it very regularly. So does Mendo when playing with C9. And, I mean, there are a few other Zaryas in and above the scene, but there's plenty of Zaryas that just do not get that level of contribution. They'll get Gravitons at a decent rate, but not to players like, wow, you're getting Graviton every fight. And it's a cool differentiation between the different Zaryas you see in the scene right now.
I mean, this is a secondary issue for a heart of the problem for a team like Rise. Not only do they have DPS players like Threatsy and Spirit who've been shut down, but because Roadhog and Reinhardt are countered mainly with, are partnered rather than Diva, Zarya is just left out of the slot. And the only times when you see Zarya for a lot of teams is when they have a 4th tank. Cloud9's another team because when Kai was no longer there right now, but when he was on it, they like to run Zarya Roadhog and ride out. But for the majority of teams, they are on D.Va. And although Midnight is a solid D.Va, we can see how much better his Zarya play is, and that is really what he's been known for.
All right,
It is
guys,
kind
so
of-
just as a quick update here, we are waiting for Spicy Boys to get their 6-man back in. Apparently, there was a bit of lag there. Spo saying that he's coming back in, so it does appear Tig has rejoined, and we should be good to go. And that figures because I just swapped the scenes back to the caster cameras, so of course I'm going to have to go back in game, but you know what? I'm totally okay with that.
It is kind of interesting to see like the round peg and square hole kind of thing, or vice versa. I think I might have messed that up. But when teams don't necessarily have the top tier D.Va player, they will force people onto it, which sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. But I think Rise has figured out like we don't want to play it, and so you've seen a lot of teams will just run the Zarya instead. It's generally those two heroes swapping out, and some teams have had mixed success with not running a D.Va there. But I think if you just really understand like this is what we're better at wholly, and everyone's going to be happier if we don't have to run the D.Va, then you can have success with it. And I think Midnight has shown that.
I mean, I even think to your example, we're going to be seeing FaZe coming up next, and they've gone through some more roster changes with Too Easy no longer being on the roster, but we've seen both Shadowburn and Zoms take up that D.Va role with mixed success on both sides, and I think that also went to your point on when you put players who don't normally play certain heroes on heroes because of the way the meta is currently and whatever patch that we are in Overwatch, teams can fall pretty far. And on the flip side, some teams get really good because they have players that have been playing Roadhog since the first day of the closed beta.
All right, so I do want to talk about compositions here. What we were seeing was a little bit of gamesmanship coming up from Spicy Boys. They came out, they showed the Sombra, presumably to try and discourage the offense from going Sombra of their own. I think they might have a little bit of intel here saying, you know what, Rise does like running Sombra early on. And Hex, what can you tell us about these early Sombra openings that you do see, especially in Hollywood?
Well, the only reason you're running Sombra early on is to get the EMP. She doesn't do anything else. No one even tries to get kills with her because it's just so ineffective. So that's essentially what you're going to wait for. He's going to hack that large pack there and then just try not to die for the most part. Now, some people have known exactly where Sombra comes in to get that little poke damage and have poked her preemptively, but really all you're waiting for now is to take some chip damage, eat that pack, already at 45%-ish for Spirit's EMP.
Now, the one downside I feel like about going for Sombra in this situation is that you look at the defense, Spo is already at 75% on the Symmetra, so if this sort of slow attack that's waiting for an EMP is too slow, now you're going to have to deal with either a shield generator or a teleporter, so I kind of feel like Symmetra actually does pretty well against Sombra in this very early gamesmanship. Even though EMP can do terrible damage to shields and all the rest, I feel like Spicy Boys has gotten a better end of this.
Yeah, very forward setup teleporter too, so that they can get those reinforcements and most importantly defend it. Actually, a shield generator goes down in the house.
Shield generator goes down. EMP went down from Spirit, and it's back and forth both sides right now. X-Retzy, though, is able to get on Dream Casper early on, and that Roadhog play is going to be a huge pain to Spicy right now. They don't have a great answer to it. He's completely not under pressure, and that lets him throw in hook after hook. And just like that, Spicy Boys are going to get the kills they need. They have the shield generator to support them, and the Sombra opening coming out from Rise has fallen a bit flat.
Yeah, not quite what they were looking for, too, and it's got to be so frustrating knowing that the shield generator is right there, right past the wall, but you put it there not to be sneaky or anything, just so you have the team there to defend it, and honestly, the Symmetra pick is not going to be able to deal with it. She just can't deal enough damage quickly enough to take out that shield generator. They're going to have to switch off of it. They do Spirit now on a Tracer to maybe try to deal with this shield generator, but I think the positioning of it is perfect. She's not going to be able to do it without getting shot.
I mean, look at Dream right now. Dream is going to get here on 76 in the top side, has Attack Visor here in a moment, and now the ult disadvantage is really kind of a pain. Midnight did build up Zarya ult really quickly as before, and he's able to take down Tig. Doesn't have to use the Graviton, but with the self-destruct going off in the back, that's going to be the end of that push right there. And this is unfortunately the gamble that Rise went with and sort of failed. They still have to not only win this fight outright, Hex, but they have to deal with the Symmetra shield generator as well.
Yeah, Spirit's still kind of finding where he's going to play now. He's now on to the Genji, but that was a beautiful combination there. One of the unsung heroes of that fight was probably Decop, who charged out the opposing Reinhardt, making that shield drop, getting the 3K and the self-destruct.
The Graviton is going to come in from the Midnight. Will pick up 3. I don't know if they have the fall through that they need for this here. Dreamcast was going to activate the Attack Visor in over the top. That's going to pressure everyone that was looking to fall up on that, and he's going to pick up 2 before it's all said and done. So Rise getting pushed back here, not going to be getting what they want, and Now, Hex, with a minute 13 left, what are their real options here for cracking this point?
There's not a ton of them because they just burned their nano boost onto Desra, who flung himself all the way into the back lines. Ultimately, you would have liked to use that with Earthshatter, try to get a couple kills. They're going to have to initiate with Sound Barrier. Teams have not been having great success with a decap with a set piece here. Gets the charge early on.
Desro taking to the sky, knocked right up there, but Red Team gets taken down. Rise already stuck with 5 players. They can't really go in on this. I mean, they could go in, but then they wouldn't have time really for a big last push. So they're going to have to hold back and wait for full strength. Now, the upside here, they will have Dragon Blade.
The Dragon Blade is going to be useful, but I think it would have been nice to get more value out of the Nano Boost earlier, or just have it for this next time now. But it's up to Desro and Spirit. That's about as simple as it gets. Can they get in a good position here to get a couple kills? Desro's Earthshatter is going to be what makes or breaks this fight. He's going to try to come up over the top, try to get in a sneaky position on Decop.
All right, 20 seconds remaining. Rise Nation looking to stay alive here on Hollywood. First map of the Alienware Monthly Melee. Spirit just waiting for his opportunity. He just wants to see something to come in and drop the Dragon Blade on. Just a good, quick, early kill, and he's not going to have that much time. 8 seconds left. Here he goes. He's going in. Nano Boost is out. They were waiting for it. He goes into the backline. Does take out Dreamcatcher right away. 2 unanswered kills here for Rise, and Rise might have done what they need to do here on this final push. They have the defense on the way back. Spo will actually melt him down before it's all said and done, but with a 3-1 advantage, this is the best push that Rise has had all map long.
Not quite over yet, because there's still a couple people in the house. That shield generator is still up. The grab should be the nail in the coffin for them here as they do get in there. Sickness takes down Midnight towards the end. Still stalling out, though. A giant Earthshatter comes in late. This is not over. Casper's up on the cafe.
It is not over yet. Rise went in a little bit deep into the cafe. They got punished for it, and that's going to let Dream come back in on the Tac Visor. Picks up 3, and Rise so close yet so far there, Hex. They probably should have had that. They got a little bit greedy diving into the cafe, and then you see Spicy Boys able to come back, get the hold, and take map 1.
So frustrating with the shield generator right around the corner. I think they would have been a little better served, and you saw it towards the last fight, taking advantage of what they were doing by just camping the teleporter. That's 2 people out of fight in that back position. If you can just take a different angle, you're essentially running like a 6v4 at that point because 2 people are so far out of the fight, just kind of protecting that, but unable to break through.
Well, this, of course, play the game coming out from Sickness. You see that combo quite a bit right now throughout the scene. There's a point where when people are first doing it, it was exciting, and oh, you don't see this very often. Well, it's a mainstay of every comp game right now, where you're going to see a Graviton or an Earthshatter, and you're going to see that mech just explode behind them and take out 3, 4, sometimes even 5 or 6 people.
But it is up to the other opponent's Reinhardt to make sure that does not happen. And Decop is outplaying Desro so far in this series, and the synergy between Decop and Sickness to make that combo happen is a big part of why Spicy is winning right now.
The cool thing, too, in Diva play, and it's not always the case, but a lot of Divas have gone out of their way to practice set Diva self-destruct throws. It was Complexity that first really mentioned it with what Nicholas is doing and setting that up, and it does really show the teams that practice a lot of Diva and then go out of their way to just grind out, here's how we're going to be setting up a self-destruct on this map, here's how we want it to work, and certainly Spicy Boys was able to get a good deal of value from that there.
All right, so the next map will be Ilios. That is the choice of Rise Nation. We're going to jump right into it now as both teams appear to be ready.
I mean, it fits both styles right now. I wouldn't be surprised if Rise tries to play at least 1 DPS, maybe go with 2-2-2 just because it is King of the Hill, but Quad Tank is shown to be quite successful, especially on Ilios with Roadhog and the Zarya Diva combination.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what Rise wants to bust out here. I mean, the players that you always want to look at of what they're running are going to be Spirit and Retzi. This team was so good when they were able to run the standard 2-2-2, and Spirit and Retzi were just very, very good on DPS. Both still trying to find out what their hero pool is going to be in this current meta. It does look like Spirit will run the Hog, Retzi will run a 76 again. I don't know if Decop is
just like
DC'd.
It feels like Retzi might not even know what he wants to do, because no matter whether he picks Soldier or if he picks McCree, he's going to have Sickness and Diva in his face, which is kind of how they've had trouble over the last maybe 2 months. And he's found more of his success on Tracer. I would kind of rather they go for that approach.
I would tend to agree that Tracer is a little bit stronger, especially in these kind of control maps anyway. There's a lot of room to negotiate, or a lot of room to move around, and you can just ignore the Diva a little bit. And she can do decent damage, get around the backside of Diva, that giant head hitbox. So I think Tracer is a much better matchup against Diva than the other 2 heroes, but it is going to be Casper on the Tracer instead. Retzi will run his McCree, though.
All right, and we'll see what Casper has in store for us on the Tracers. Tracer was a big deal towards the end of Hollywood for Spicy Boys. It turns out that they didn't even need to push that far, but regardless, we'll see what he does to set this up. Meanwhile, you take a look at Rise. It's going to be X-Retzy on the McCree, and the McCree-Tracer matchup, very important. Retzy going to have to dedicate a lot of time to dealing with Dream here, but the tank battle we were talking about going the way of Spicy Boys early on. Decop on Desro takes it out, 3 unanswered kills, and Spicy Boys just going to use those early picks to move in and push out the rest of Rise Nation.
That is absolutely dominant from them. They get a full team kill. They do not lose anyone on their own, so they're going to have a big advantage just as far as the ultimates go. And again, Retzy just seems a little bit lost overall today. He switches immediately on the Tracer.
And that's unfortunate. Retzy, when he's been on with McCree, has been one of the most devastating McCrees in the game, and very much could shut down a good Tracer, but he doesn't even want to take that battle. And now, take a look at Casper. He's got his pulse bomb up early in this fight, and he's just applying so much pressure onto Zarya. Gonna drop the bomb on to Spirit, off of the Earth Shatter, and now that's gonna let him just clean up the remainder of this Rise squad. And Rise right now, I think if you go back and look at how even Hollywood went down, I feel like Rise is losing this on a pure mechanical level right now, and then when you throw ult into the mix, it gets even worse.
It's just getting out of control for them right now too, is because they are losing the ultimate. They're losing every single fight decisively. It seems like, again, aggression is the name of the day for Spicy Boys. As soon as they see someone even poke in, they just launch tanks at it, and then the cleanup. The calls are definitely there though, just as far as focus fire and target calling too. They're just eliminating people one by one with full force.
And now you take a look at Spicy going to his next fight. Sickness is going to get hooked in. He can drop a self-destruct if he wants. Doesn't want to do it here just yet. I think he would prefer to get a little bit of setup, but he's going to get knocked right to the ground. A nice Earth Shatter coming out from Desro. Knocks down 3. And we'll see if Rise can get enough fall through on there. Desro even throws Baby Diva against the wall. So, Rise Nation going to be ejecting the Spicy Boys from the point, but what a start here from Spicy Boys. 66%. They don't have to win too many fights here, Hex, to finish out this round.
Yeah, very solid, but we've seen control maps can swing the entire other way, just based on the position that you can get here. A lot of that, the last fight that they won was because Decop took himself out of the fight, opened it up for Desro to get that enormous Earth Shatter, but right now, a lot of ultimates to work with. That's going to start it off.
Well, we have Gravitons in from both sides. Everyone's feeling cozy right now, but Spicy Boy's gonna be feeling a little bit better to start that out. It is 4v4 between the two. Retzy trying to pull it back, gets the pulse bomb onto the Ana, and anytime you take out Ana, even if it's at that point in the fight, it bodes super well. That is one thing that Tracer is great at, especially if you can land that pulse bomb, and as a result, Rise gonna be holding on.
Some really good sustainability in the back line. Let's talk about a little bit about Rise Nation's supports. They had both Faz and Locke, who were getting targeted down by Tracer, the Tracer in the back line from Casper, but they kind of ignored her, were able to dodge shots and keep all that healing on their team up front so they could find a chance to deal with her. So really nice just knowing what is important there. Most important is keeping your team alive, not really dealing with the Tracer.
Retzy right now under pressure, losing that Tracer v Tracer fight quite significantly. Had to back out, will get the sound parry, but isn't really able to apply too much pressure here, and that creates an opening where Desro gets around on both sides, gets taken down, and Spicy Boys, though they start out well, it's going to be Rise pulling it right back. They back out enough, come back in, and it's Midnight as a charged up Zarya picking up 2 kills to really pull that back, and now Hex, the tables have turned.
Yeah.
You take a look at the side of Spicy, they only have really one good fight left here to try and win this round.
Retzy can win this round for them immediately if he can just find a target in the backline. Taking out a support with a pulse bomb like this is really their best bet right now. Desro also going to have Earth Shatter up as this next fight commences. They have to be careful so they can stay alive and get these down, but there goes Spirit early on to Casper. Desro throws his Earth Shatter down, doesn't get much off it though.
Hex, I just came to watch both Reinhardts ult some shields, but Spicy Boys still getting the better end of this right now. Dream Casper going in deep, and this is where Tracer really excels. The fight is breaking down, and both Tracers getting the maximum value out of the duel. So it's going to be X-Retzy who takes out Dream and keeps Rise in it. Rise now in full control of the point. We're in overtime. Last moment efforts here coming out from Spicy Boys. They do have more people on the point, but Rise, the respawns are coming back in, and this is do or die here as Spo just goes down.
I want to give some credit to Faz, who has been the unkillable Lucio all game. I mentioned it last fight. This fight, he is somehow still alive. They have been trying to kill him all match, and he just refuses to stay on the ground.
And the Dream Casper now coming back in. This is where he's going to get a second shot here. The Be a Hero as Tracer finds the Ana early on, and Spicy Boy is not dead yet. It's a double for Dream, and Rise going to have to back it out. But Hex, look at Midnight. He has Graviton up and at the ready. 3 ults total here for Rise. How does Rise bring in this next fight?
Well, Big Bang very likely incoming. I would just throw everything you have at it. You only have to win one fight. You get the sound barrier going, you boost someone, doesn't even matter who in this case. Then you get the grab on. The only thing you have to worry about is sickness. Really, if you can just get sickness out of position, get the grab on without getting eaten, then you're going to be good.
Well, there's a
Only
grab
one in the
tag from
grab.
Midnight. Doesn't scoop in as many people as he did on Hollywood. Only 2 people, and as a result, Spicy Boy's dealing with this pretty well right now. Counter Holog coming out. Midnight will be falling 2-1 in favor of Spicy as Dreamcasper again gets to work on the back line. Working here to take out Retzi, or at least pressure him so Retzi can't go for a hero moment of his own. And Spicy Boys now on the verge of winning this round after all, when their backs were truly against the wall.
They really should have won that fight. They had everything going for them there. They had the advantage, but a lot of times when you see those sound barriers come out offensively, if you're not seeing kills immediately, then the advantage is gone in a couple seconds, so it didn't really do anything. They are going to get maybe no Spirit unable to touch the point on time. Extremely back and forth that matchup, but I think that last fight is Rise Nation should have had.
I tend to agree. I mean, Rise, they were able to pull themselves back out of a bad situation, and you saw Retzi really have a much better Tracer game towards the end of that. Although I will note that Tracer v Tracer can be a little bit variable. Dream was certainly able to bring it back towards the end. I personally am just entertained by watching 2 great Tracers go at it.
Yeah, it's always fun. Slasher, go ahead.
Spicy's tanks are really outplaying Rise right now, but it's Retzi and Midnight are doing their best to try to make sure the Rise win these games.
Well, we do have a compositional switch up coming in here. Dreamcasper showing to be a man of many talents. We saw him on Roadhog, we saw him on 76, we saw him on Tracer, and now we're going to get to see him take to the skies. Hex, I know that makes you happy.
I always love a Fair here, but it does kind of worry me because they are going to have to switch onto something to deal with the Fair. Very likely Retzi is going to have to go on a McCree, and then they're just going to send Sickness after him non-stop. So it's kind of the mind games of the compositions coming out right now.
Dreamcasper right now going in over the top. Doesn't really have to worry about a lot going in on, but while he's going in over the top, it's Retzi just feasting on the bottom right now. Picks up 2, is pressuring the Zarya. Zarya's not going to be able to come back into this for a while. Zarya's actually lucky to leave with her life. And look at that. That's the reset coming out here from Spicy Boys. I know that fight was lost, and that's the downside sometimes when teams run Pharah Hex. I feel like if you don't dive in as Pharah, you could be leaving an opening for the other team to just dive on you.
It does leave you a little bit exposed, and you saw there, it's not just about the kills you get early, it's about the quality of kills. They were able to take on both supports, and that's why I felt confident saying immediately, that's it. You can't lose both supports in the first 2 seconds of a fight and expect to come through.
Absolutely not. Retzi right now, again, pressuring the Zarya, throws out the Pulse Bomb, does not connect, but Tig's still in a rough situation, ate all that damage, 2 unanswered kills here from Rise, and Spicy Boys just gonna have to back this out once more. Retzi doing a great job of not only splitting the focus of Spicy Boys right now, but also just getting the damage in that he needs to do.
I love how they're dealing with this Pharah too. There's a lot of times when I always say run a Pharah until the team proves they can deal with it. Well, why don't you just run your same composition until the Pharah proves she can be a viable threat? They have knocked her out of the sky twice, have not changed her out their composition at all to do so. Pretty much just telling Locke to be a little more vigilant on his offensive mechanics, and he's knocked that Pharah out of the skies twice. So much so, knocked her out of the game. Now a Tracer on the field.
Rip Pharah, the dream is dead. The skies no longer occupied by Dreamcasper. Instead, he's going to be trying to win and Tracer returns with that. But what a play by Midnight! The Graviton with the immediate 3-kill follow-through. And that, absolutely all that Rise needed. And now, you take a look at Spicy here. Spicy only has about 2 good fights left, Hex.
2 good fights. They are nearing some decent ultimates though, so we'll see how those come into play. Again, Retzi can be a hero and already win the fight before it starts if he can just nail a backline Pulse Bomb. I think Pulse Bomb is one of those things you feel comfortable throwing it away, especially knowing Midnight's only at 50%. You'll have another one-off when he has grab up.
Well, he has 90% energy right now. That makes Zarya an incredible threat early on. With Retzi, though, getting picked off. He went a little bit too deep. Here come the Spicy Boys. They're going to full engage here. Sound Barrier and Nano Boost on the way, pushing back the tank play of Rise. Midnight, though, still at 100% charge, moving in. We should be able to win the Zarya v Zarya fight, and keeping at least somewhat even here for Rise as they struggle to maintain control. If they win this fight, they're going to win another grab out from Midnight. He used one last fight, uses one this fight, melts people down, and that should be Rise Nation able to hold on here, unless a miracle comes out from the Spicy Boys.
Yeah, a really good counter to a strong Diva is a stronger Zarya. Of course, pretty much the direct counter to a Diva in that defense matrix. I feel so bad for Retzi. I know exactly what happened. He was going in to lay on the bomb and just his E didn't go off on time. I guarantee you. I've been there as Tracer many times before. They are at 99%, still keeping this fight going. The Sound Barrier should come in and close it out.
They're keeping it going right now, but they're staggering in. They're just hoping for the miracle. That miracle might have been able to come from Dream, but he's taken out again. It's good at least stall to stay alive here. There's no reason not to, because since they would be losing the game otherwise, but Rise Nation looking far more composed on the second round, although I think part of that might have had to do with the fact that the Pharah just simply wasn't effective.
I mean, I like the idea, though. I mean, you know that they're going to be going Tracer because it's been working the best for them. Rise should continue to put Fretzy on Tracer. That gives an opening for Pharah, and that is a good map for Pharah. But if Fretzy's going to be killing 2 people to start off the map, first and second, then no.
Right, and not only that, I mean, if you can get them off of the Tracer, which I think the Pharah was designed to do, so that, like, we're going to run a Pharah, so they're going to have to get off Tracer, which, like you said, has been the most successful, then you're already winning that kind of compositional battle early on. Casper, again, just playing whatever. We're getting to know Spicy here and knowing that Casper is just all over the place. He's going to be at Soldier 76 for this stage.
Well, Casper right now definitely setting a very high bar with this play right now, reminiscent of the early days of Surefour, if nothing else, just that level of versatility and strong play regardless of what he's playing. But 1-1, he's definitely going to have to find a way here on this next stage on Ilios, and right now, no one's on him. He's able to get free damage on the Desro, and now you take a look at Spicy, they don't have to worry about the shield v shield battle. And in fact, they're going to use Decop, push him forward, and Rise says they want no more of that.
It's a really smart play, knowing that the composition that you're going to see is going to have absolutely no one to contest high ground. There's really nothing you can do about the Soldier up there. Just all alone was able to pick down the tank in the back, and once you lose the Reinhardt there, then he's just free picking for Casper up top too. So they do take first control of this point.
All right, we're going to see Rise come back here once more, looking for the early pickup to start this off, and they get it. Desro charging in the SPO. He's going to go down early on. 2 unanswered kills here by Rise, and Rise now, the 2-1 advantage in a really good spot here. Block, though, not able to get onto his Reinhardt in time, and Dream Casper doing his best to pull this right back. Coming back in, Diva's in his face. Defensive Matrix is gone, but there's the hook coming out from Spirit. Going to be taking him out, and Rise doing their best to hang on here and recap this point.
It did force the switch they wanted, though. They got Retzy off of Tracer. Retzy now forced to play the Diva to try to deal with this Soldier 76. Did so okay. Spo with a double on the point, keeping it alive. That Earthshatter's going to come in. They might be able to clean this up. It is still 3v2, though. Odds against him, but reinforcements should be coming in for Spicy.
Reinforcements are coming in, and Dream Casper able to just thread that rocket in, taking down Spirit and Spicy. In the end, they do enough delay. The hold on control is looking very good for Eyes, but it was just that last moment delay. Let the respawns come back in. Late Graviton coming in here from Midnight. It's risky. It could work out. They get 2 kills off to start things out. The Sound Barrier going to mitigate the rest. But Retzy right now going to town on that Diva. So Rise showing they can bring out Diva if they have to. And oh man, Reinhardt literally backed into a corner. Everything against him. He's shielding, but there's only so much you can do, Hex.
Well, careful what you wish for. What they definitely did want to get Retzy off of Tracer, but now his Diva play has been pretty solid so far. It's a great counter to Casper. I think Casper is going to try one more life on this 76 because he's got ultimate ready, but if he gets shut down and it's just Retzy's job to do just that, then I think you might see him switch again.
Well, Retzy right now is looking for that self-destruct angle right now. He sees the enemy team coming in from the bottom, and this is just patience right now. He's waiting for the right moment. He does want to initiate with the self-destruct, and first self-destruct going to be coming out here from Spicy Boys. Doesn't get too much done, runs right into the Soldier. Going to be a big reason why he goes down, and now Hex, he might not even need that ultimate with that early pickoff here. Rise can take this fight at their leisure, and really, Spicy has to back out a bit. They don't have a whole lot of power in picking off anyone from Rise, but they're going to charge in and try and make the best of it.
Yeah,
oh no, goodbye Decop.
Retzy was just waiting for Casper to show his head. He got behind him and then he knocked him into a hook, so they just took out Casper immediately with his Diva play. Continues to be very scrappy. Casper does get himself back up. He's got his visor on. He's got the nano boost. Is he going to get the kills?
He's looking for right now, does get booped and knocked back a bit. Not really the highest value nano visor. Does find Desro before it's all said and done, but he is against very steep odds as Spirit just got to hook him in and finish it. And this has been really good for Rise right now, Hex, because it's been a long battle that Spicy hasn't really been favored in. Spicy's still been trying to win it anyways, and look at the time that Rise has bought. They've almost evened up the progress here in this game.
Yeah, it's definitely very even. It will be even by the time the next fight on the point happens. Again, Midnight just always with the Graviton up. He's got that ready to go. They do get a nice hook in early. It's going to kind of change the angle of aggression. Earthshatter comes down too. Everyone's popping off.
Earthshadow's going off, but it's a Graviton by Midnight to set the stage once more. Makes for 3 kills. Spirit with the cleanup, and now at 85%, it is going to be Spicy Boys struggling to stay in this round. They should be able to cause overtime here, but they're not going to get the positioning or setup they want. It's just going to be Spo sound barriering and hoping for the best.
Some credit to Locke here this game too. Almost every target that has died has been unable to be healed. He has really made again the effects of the other supports.
And they're not even able to get on the point fully in the end. They're pushed back, and that's going to be Rise now, making a very considerable comeback. Don't forget, not only did they lose the first round here, Hex, but they were well on their way to losing that round, came back at 70%, and held it the entire time.
They're warming up.
Now show them.
I know today, as they say, warming up. It's just reminding me of NBA Jam. Like, he's heating up. And speaking of heating up, Slasher, what are you seeing right now?
Quad tank.
Yeah.
Not a coincidence.
Well, quad tank indeed, and we'll see what they stay on here. I think, given how they did the last time they were on the stage, you could probably expect Xrutzy to stay on this Tracer at least in the beginning, but you take a look here at the composition coming out from the Spicy Boys, Hex. Are you surprised to see Dream now on the Roadhog?
It was what he kind of opened up the entire set with on Hollywood, and he wrecked it as Roadhog. So it doesn't surprise me that they do want to they want to run quad tank now as well. So Casper has not had the greatest impact on some of his other DPS heroes, but it's going to be up to Retzi to see if he can shine on the sole DPS on the field.
Well, Desron right now does find Decop early on, but it's going to be countered here. Dream with a hook of his own. Down goes Faz. 4v4 between both teams. Both teams not going to be dropping the beat. Lucio's both falling. And Dream right now under pressure from Xrutzy, but it's that secondary fire of Roadhog that has one-shot potential Tracer, lets him get that pick off, and finds another hook towards the end. Dream Casper, the Roadhog switch, working out well for them, Hex.
It's actually, I'm really glad to see it because I was a little surprised that he'd switched off so often towards the end of Hollywood there because he had just been wrecking folks on his Roadhog. Looked really good for the first 2 minutes of that map. Then when they stalled a little bit, he decided to switch off. Haven't seen him on it since, but he has thrown out some really sick hooks. As you mentioned, those right clicks are cleaning up as well, and he is a force that they're going to have to find an answer to.
Well, you take a look at upcoming attractions here from Rise. They are, I normally wouldn't say they're close to Graviton, but the way Midnight's been building charge, they might be closer than you think. Xrutzy almost with a Pulse Bomb, going to be looking to throw that onto backline. Again, just throwing pressure on the Tig, but all that's going on, Decop goes in big, Nano Boost out after the Earth Shower, picks up 2, and this is the worst situation for a Roadhog, just sitting there hoping for sweet death. Is actually able to get out with a little bit of support, but Spicy Boys, a nice push that throws back Rise once more, and Rise still lacking a Graviton for this next fight.
Yeah, they're fighting so far forward right now. Decop looked for a blind charge on the corner, trying to get the Tracer. Tracer does find her way towards the backside, though, trying to get a little bit of aggression going. But again, here comes the Graviton opposing onto them. The Earth Shatter will prevent a lot of that.
Graviton, though, has set everything up. 3 unanswered kills from the Spicy Boys, and Tig, who has had a quieter Zarya game for sure overall over these 2 maps than Midnight, is able to thread in there, get the good Graviton, and buy another team for the Spicy Boys. And Hex, they only need one more fight.
I really like how Spicy Boys plays in far as just pushing their advantage, right? They're not playing reactionary with their ults. If they feel that they have an ult that can win a team fight, they just throw it down. And you've seen it a couple times. They're fighting very much on the side of Rise Nation's part of the map, and they're still throwing down ults. If they see a chance to win a fight, they will take it despite what it might mean.
Well, Midnight right now going with the long-range Graviton. Gonna pull in only Lucio. Was looking for the double support grab. No, he does get a second one in the end. Attached to the wall. 3 kills here from Rise. And Rise, off of that Graviton, going to get what they need to really set themselves up well in this point. You do see Dream Casper, who swapped to Tracer, trying to pull it back, but not gonna happen as gets hooked in and dies.
Well, that has been the theme of the set today. Rise off of that Graviton in good position because it has been Midnight who has put this team on his Zarya shoulders and absolutely been the linchpin of the fights that they are able to win. They're going to have a couple ultimates up. The ult advantage now has swung in favor of Rise Nation. Can they connect with them is the big question.
What comes out here from Spirit? He's going to open up with a whole hog here, try and waste a lot of time off the sound barrier, and does just that, but does die for his efforts. So 65 opportunity coming up here for the Spicy Boys. Nano Boost on the way. And we'll see what Dream Casper does in this uneven number situation. 6 the bomb, and now Spicy Boys should be able to retake this point, and that's bad news here for Rise. If they lose this point right here, they're probably not going to be able to stall it out, and they will be losing this round.
Well, the question was, can they connect with the ultimates they had? They had a Pulse Bomb, had a Whole Hog. Whole Hog went out very far forward, absolutely naked Whole Hog, and you're not gaining health by doing damage out there, so he gets taken down easily. Retzi missed his bomb. On the other side, Casper hit his, and that was the tail that ended that fight for him.
It is interesting, though. I don't necessarily disagree with how the Roadhog play went down there. I do think that knocking people back so you can't initiate Heart of the Sound Bearer is a good idea. I just think that he pushed it a little bit too far, and that caused the loss there. And now we are heading into the 5th and final round. Ilios, very close between the 2 teams here. Slasher, what do you think of the compositions coming out here? And do you like Dream more on Roadhog than some of his other characters?
I mean, Dream's been putting in work on Roadhog on Hollywood and through, this King of the Hill so far. Arguably a little bit better than maybe his play on DPS. So if it's working, why switch up?
This
Especially
map
on this map, Roadhog is so good.
Yeah, this
Well,
map.
the cool thing about this map in particular, too, you have the hooks that literally can throw people into the pit. It actually just adds a little bit of extra power to the Roadhog in tank v tank matchups. Not like you needed more anyways, but it's a very good map for Roadhog. So we're going to take a look at Dream here as he goes in looking for the early hook. Not going to land it immediately, but every 6 seconds he can make that attempt. Reinhardt charging in deep as Desroni finds Spo as a result. So not a bad start here coming out from Rise. X-Retzy in the backline here is Tracer, looking again to put pressure on the take. He is on anti-Zarya duty, and we're talking about Midnight playing well, but I don't know if Midnight has had to deal with this level of Tracer pressure.
I just want to give more credit again to Locke, who had a beautiful sleep dart early on, took the opposing D.Va completely out of the fight. They just let her take a nap for a bit, cleaned up other kills behind it, and then the D.Va was out in no man's land. They cleaned her up late, staggered it. Another really nice play from Rise Nation's Ana player.
Well, Retzy right now doing what he does best, going to the back line with harassment. Might have been a little bit overambitious on that pulse bomb. That Reinhardt will be healed up and actually just gave support ult to the other team, but was close to getting pick up. I understand why. And next fight here underway. Spicy Boys looking to bring this back in their favor. And again, they're going to do a little bit off of Dream. Casper pulls in the Reinhardt, but the Zarya shield going to keep him up and alive as really Spicy Boys really struggling to get a foothold here in the center. But that's the hook they needed. Midnight in a world of trouble. He shields himself and will he get out? It's looking like he will. Lock with some very on-point Ana heals to keep him up and in this fight. And Midnight right now looking for revenge. They tried to burn through his Zarya shield and now they're paying the price. A great Graviton sets him up for 3 kills. Midnight stays alive, makes a great play, but X, it wouldn't have happened without the on-point play of Locke.
Yeah, Locke has been the unsung hero, I think, in a lot of these games. We give a lot of credit to the frontliners and the tanks because their names show up in the kill feed, but Locke, as I mentioned earlier, he's hitting bio grenades on the enemy team. He's hitting sleep darts. He's doing everything he needs to get done, and there's just been no pressure on the back lines because he's done such a good job of keeping their front line alive.
Spicy Boys right now in one of their final attempts, but they lose Kosi. It's Spirit able to thread in, get him out, and with no Ana, you're not gonna have sustain, and that lets Rise just push in the Spicy once more. Hex, final push here, gonna be on the way for Spicy Boys. What do they need?
Well, they have everything in the bank that they can work with. So they're definitely going to use a nano boost coming out here soon. Taking down Spirit early is really helpful. The grab does grab a couple. That might be enough, but Midnight's staying alive because Locke's in his back pocket. Soundbreaker's going to come in as well, and just not the coordination with the ult they need. But the nano boost is coming in very late here.
It is coming in pretty late. We do see the self-destruct coming in at the last moment. Hail Mary efforts here from the side Spicy Boys. Midnight throws out a grab again. Gun pull on 3, and the fall from Reinhardt is there. Swing the hammer, charged up Zarya and Reinhardt. The cleanup crew here for Rise. And Spicy Boys on the verge of losing Ilios. Decop looking for the miracle Earthshatter. It's a great Earthshatter, but there's no follow through because his team is dead. And Spicy Boys will be falling here to Rise on Ilios. We're going to be heading to a map 3.
They had the ults to use there. The nano boost coming out really late on a non-ultimated Roadhog is not ideal for what you want to use. And let's give Midnight his glory here. This is probably at 4K on Ilios.
Yeah, it was great. Midnight, again, he's just been solidly impressive. You look at his average energy, and it has actually been nutty what he has been able to do. And again, you see Locke behind him. That was a position where Locke was just keeping him alive, despite him getting hooked in, and just great synergy between the two of them. And look at that, 44 high energy kills coming in from Midnight. That is a game and a half.
You saw the grenade there too at the end, the bio grenade onto the Graviton. He hit every single one of those. And yeah, it's easy when it's a Graviton, but he was hitting them, along the lines in other different situations as well. So Locke played really well that game. Faz was unkillable, so we'll see. It's tied up 1-1 in this best of 3.
Yeah, it's a good bounce back by Rise to be able to win that. I think Spirit's finding a little bit more ground in this series. He has been kind of missing for the most part. And it's Retzy and Midnight I think are definitely Rise's best players right now. But Route 66 is the map they've had some success on before, not as much recently just because of the meta. I don't think we will see Symmetra come out from either team just because it hasn't been as good. I saw a few days ago Cloud9 running Mercy on first point defense. Unfortunately, they went up against Dive Comp and they just got destroyed by it. So you can do some interesting things here. I even think like a Zen Ana defense would work. Want to see if either team pulls something out.
So one thing I think is interesting to point out here as we go to Route 66, and it just sort of dawns on me in looking at the map, I think part of something that could be hurting Rise here because they don't really like running D.Va as much as other teams is that Route 66, I think more so than other maps, has really excellent setups for D.Va self-destructs. The nature of the map in terms of the high ground to the alleyways, there's just points where you're going to see a D.Va ult go in over the top, and there's just points where you actually can't get away. How much does that play into Spicy Boys' favor, potentially?
I mean, I would say not only that, but because it also is a very good map for long-range hit scan, you know, Rise not running D.Va unless it's threats he wants to is going to give a lot of open space to Spicy. So not only do Spicy has the opportunity to contest high ground with their D.Va and to do a lot of the good D.Va ults, there's a little bit more room if Dream wants to play hit scan on this map, especially on defense instead of the Roadhog.
Yeah, I think the D.Va is so important on this map, not only because of the self-destructs. As you mentioned, they've been crucial. You can talk about the different angles over the buildings and over top, but just being able to control the high ground, especially in the second phase of the game, where high ground is essentially given to the defense in a lot of different situations because of all the stairways and things like that, that you don't have a hero who can at least contest high ground, and the best option to do that offensively is a D.Va, you're going to be in a little bit of trouble, especially if they do decide to run something like a 76 or even a McCree on those high grounds, that you just don't have the heroes to be able to get up there, and you're just sitting there taking damage on the low ground.
So it is worth noting, by the way, we do have an update from the other game currently going on. FaZe has 2-0'd Denial Esports. Probably expected going in where we know FaZe is, although the weird thing about FaZe is I feel like you can never really expect anything out of FaZe. You can't expect them to do badly, you can't expect them to do well, and now they even have an extra degree of uncertainty on that team with, of course, Too Easy being out and them trying out new people like Mike, so we'll see how that works out for FaZe. Definitely excited to see them play later on the day, but just to update people in the course of the tournament, Denial starting off with that loss to FaZe.
Good for FaZe as they come out. We are in our third match of this best-of-3 winner-take-all here on Route 66 between Spicy Boys and Rise Nation. It's been interesting to get reacquainted with these teams, or be kind of formally acquainted with Spicy Boys. They've shown a lot of promise so far, and Route 66 will be the decider.
Now, if these comps do end up being what they are, it really doesn't surprise me to be maybe seeing a Zen Ana composition come out from Spicy on defense. Especially as we know, Spo is a very competent Zen player, has gotten some frag movies out on that character, and kind of made his name known for Zen before he played as much Lucio or Mercy. And I think that would be a very good way to start out this match if I was Spicy.
Yeah, definitely agree. I think Zen is, in my opinion, still a little bit underrated in certain situations, although not entirely the perfect answer to a 4-tank composition, but see what they want to run out here on offense. And yeah, Spo's frag videos, given the tools that Overwatch content creators are given to make frag videos, top-notch, top stuff frag videos from Spo's Zenyatta. So,
and let me just say, I know Uber is here and about, and actually this is a case where Uber can totally comment on that. Uber loves himself some Spo.
Oh man, true. I tell you what. Okay, if go to YouTube and look up Spo 2 Rise and watch the frag vid, it is not just a sick frag vid, but the frags are awesome, really. After watching that, I actually wanted to play support. And I off-roll that normally, but it's a tough road. But after watching that, I was keen.
So you heard it there, guys. Spo is so good, and that frag video is so awesome, it will make you want to play support. That is a slogan I could get behind. But let's take a look here at what the offense is coming out with here, and I love this. We're seeing a dive comp with a dash of Widowmaker. I could not be more excited with this. We saw some elements of this in recent Apex games. We'll see if Midnight can land that magic bullet early on, and bye-bye, Spo! The caster curse is real. That's not going to be in his frag video, but Rise Nation going to be coming in strong with that early Widow pick.
It's such a great composition. You want to get up here, up top, and cause chaos to open up those sight lines for Widow, but both tanks who dive in over the top, taken down very quickly. So despite that opening pick, Midnight now going to be in a little bit of trouble trying to get kills, does dodge a hook later on. Faz is kind of messing around there too, but they really didn't get the follow-up they wanted from that dive. Spo immediately regrets his Zenyatta, now he's on the Lucio.
It was a really good effort from the rest of Spicy Boys to recover from that. Losing support early on, that's the Widow dream, and it was balanced out by the fact that Spirit was taken out early. He gets taken out again. Tig making his presence known in this Roadhog, definitely giving Spirit a hard time, and I think that was really different there. If Spirit was able to stay alive, I think Rise probably takes that off that early pick, but because he overdives, it doesn't work, and he's off the Genji, so the dream is kind of dead here. We're going back to Reinhardt, Roadhog, Zarya, 3-tank with the 76 backing it up, but I did like the opening, nonetheless.
It was a cute idea, and it could not have gone any better for the initial pick to be on that Zenyatta. They just did not get the follow-up on the rooftop there and kind of let Casper just do his own thing in the back lines. They do have to find an answer for Casper. He's just sitting on that high ground as 76.
Tig right now still looking for the hooks, does bring Spirit up and over, and Spirit able to get away, but Desro pays the price for it. He went out to save him, and it doesn't happen. The Earth Shatter, absolutely devastating, sets up Tig for 3, and Spicy Boys gonna be holding on, and thus far, Rise Nation really struggling to get anything going, and really just dislodging Spicy Boys from Big Earls has been a tremendous challenge.
It's not even Big Earls that's been the biggest problem. Yes, it is. That's where they're focusing all their efforts, but if you look at the back, Casper is gonna have to sign a lease over there. They've had no one to even dislodge him up there. They're not running the D.Va. They're not getting any pressure on him. He is just happy as a soldier can be up there, just pelting away, no aggression on him.
Now, early hook coming out here from the side of Spirit. Doesn't convert on right away, but does force out the whole hog. And X-Retzy in over the top. Nano Visor about to be at the ready. Has taken out Tig. But look at that. Decop is able to get in. Swings the hammer. Clears out the payload. And Spicy Boys still going to hold on despite that early pick off of Tig. And now for Rise. This is going from bad to worse here, Hex. They have only a minute 30 left. What do they need to do?
They need a D.Va. I mean, it's really as simple as that. And I know, like we talked a little bit in this game, you can run a D.Va, should be strong here, but they have done nothing to Casper up top. He's been sitting back here with his Ana doing damage, completely untouched over here. They need to send someone in to just deal with him, dislodge him, something, or at least now they're going to take the angle, which is going to put some pressure on him.
Midnight right now does not have that Graviton up yet. It's been a relatively slow game for him relative to the other stuff. Just not a whole lot for him to work with on getting charge. And now with the minute left, this could be the last good attempt here for Rise. They do have the tech visor on the way, but there's Midnight. Gets hooked in. Gonna have to self-shield. Will get healed up, but the defense, they sense an opportunity. They're gonna Sound Bear and go in, but I wonder if it was a little bit premature. Decop, I don't think got hit by that, gets taken down immediately, but Dream Casper making up the difference right now, gets on the Spirit, and Spicy Boys for now, still in a good position to hold this out.
They're getting the kills. 4 on the cart now. Sickness is going to be trying to dislodge Retzy up top, doing the 1v1 Soldier versus D.Va. I can tell you, D.Va generally wins that. Now Sickness up top, being completely untouched himself. Got a couple of machine guns going. The Graviton will come in.
Graviton does come in, and Dream Casper, again, nothing on him right now, so there's nothing that can really save Faz or anyone else that gets on this payload. 13 seconds remaining, and Rise is going to need a miracle now to win the series if they get held here. But they have been held. 5 seconds left, and the Nano Visor, that is going to seal this. You cannot rush in blindly at the payload while you have a soldier looking to take you out in that fashion then. Spicy Boys, well positioned now to take Route 66 in a dominant fashion. And by the way, I do just want to apologize a little bit here. I'm doing my best to filter out coughs. I've been getting my butt kicked by bronchitis the last few days. Everyone else on the call can hear it. I just try and mute when necessary. Sort of my own cough button, as it were. But if some of that gets on stream, I'm sorry. But in between games, I'm just going to be coughing my everything off.
I look forward to it. I look forward to hearing that. You don't mute your Skype on my end. I mean, really, they had the high ground. The only time they looked even partially successful, right, is when they took the different route in so that they could dislodge Casper up top. And that's essentially where you always want to set up Soldier, is on that ledge across from Big Earls. He sits back there. He had Kosi in his pocket the entire time. They had no answer for it until they finally decided to just take that ground away from them, get their own Soldier set up over top there. That was smart, but it was their third or fourth fight that they did that in, and they just did not touch him at all, and you can't let a soldier feel comfortable. That's when he's at his deadliest.
I mean, we talked a little bit about that before the comp that they were running. They're just not able to contest that. I do like Rise trying out triple DPS to start. Actually going Widow against the Zen Ana combination is actually pretty good way to go about things. They got the opening pick. They put themselves in a position to be able to start off that map well, and it just, after that, things kind of went downhill quite fast.
All right, well, the offense right now, I don't think they're going to run this. Spo is going to shoot an arrow into the car, because Rise Nation, I believe, was the first team to ever do the train stomping tactic, hiding in the train and then coming out. So a lot of teams will just shoot a sonic arrow into that train car to make sure that doesn't happen to them. I would imagine that this is going to be the defense we're seeing out of Rise Nation. It's going to be interesting to see what position Retzy gets in. Is he going to take the same spot that Casper did last time on that opposing ledge? Right now, they're just all poached up on top of Big Earls, a little bit clumped up right now. So
what I love seeing from the offense of Spicy Boys here is that they are going full on mega dive. You don't get more aggressive than this. Not only do you have a D.Va coming in on top to get you off that gas station, you have Winston coming in over the top, Pharah in the sky, and Genji dashing in. You don't get more in than this. and we'll see if it works out. These sorts of compositions, they either absolutely crush or get crushed, and it gets settled in the very beginning. But here we go, Decomp gonna lead the way. Winston diving in, it is immediately dispatched by Spirit. 5v5 between the two, but with the Ana being down, this could still go in favor of Spicy Boys. That pickoff about as important as you can get. Dreamcasper, though, not able to get heals. Spirit coming in big right now for Rise Nation. 2 very key kills, and again, as the dive comp goes, you either win big or lose big.
I have no idea how Midnight's still alive. He does finally go down. He was at about half of a negative health or something like that. That was the lowest I've ever seen a health bar. He does stay alive. They are going to be able to regroup, reposition themselves on top of Big Earls. It was really nice, just that hook early on. The jumping Winston came in over the top, got launched, pulled out of the sky, and dealt with immediately. They did trade on early on, but a nice first hold there for Rise Nation.
The problem is for Rise that they're going to have to do that many, many times in a row. If they lose even a single fight, that is going to be it. An amazing hook coming out there on the Dreamcasper, plucks him out of the air. And Rise right now, this is going to give them a lot of breathing room and more time for Alexa. Spirit goes in again. 2 hooks here from Spirit, and he has woken up in a big way. But for Rise, Hex, you just can't get overconfident here.
No, as you said, there's no room for error here. Yellow box of victory only about 10 meters away from where the cart currently stands. So if they lose one fight, they will lose the map and the set, consequently. All the pressure is on them, but Spirit has rise to the occasion as he's gotten hook after hook to really shut them down. His dive comp not really working all that well. Casper's been somewhat uninspired on this Genji, but I imagine he'll stick with it until we get to the blades. They're all about 20% away from ults, and knowing they only need to win one fight, you'd think they're going to bank them. I wouldn't mind a junk rush here to try to get some of these ults out of Rise Nation.
No, not at all. And the thing for Dream is that all you need is one good Nano Blade, and they have the luxury of time. They don't have to worry about saying a good time on the map. They just need to get to that yellow box of victory. But with Spo going down early, this has got to be more of a junk rush here for the offense. And actually, though, Hex, you take a look at it, they are building the war chest right now. They're losing the fight, but they didn't throw anything into it, and they're going to have a magic 6 ultimates up. You got to think that's going to be their window.
Super smart. Baited 2 out. Baited out Tac Visor and baited out Nano Boost, which is absolutely huge as far as the defense and the high ground that you have there. So they are going to be going into it with very likely 6 ultimates as opposed to the 4 on the other team. So that was a really smart push to not use anything. The definition of a junk rush might work out for them.
Well, this is do or die here for the Spicy Boys. It is showtime. They're going to throw everything they have into this Dreamcasper. In over the top, Nano Boost in. The blade is out, and he is knocked right to the ground and charged and killed. Farewell to Dreamcasper. A beautiful counter coming out here from the side of Rise Nation. Desro could not have played that any better, and Hex, they could still hold here.
Yeah, a really sick play from Desro, waiting for him to come into Earthshatter range and knock him on the ground. That is another self-destruct going up over top. 50 seconds, this isn't necessarily the last push, but they threw everything they had at this, did Spicy Boys, and they're going to come away with nothing.
You never want that to happen. I mean, I think one of the last major times I saw that happen was NRG back at MLG Vegas, and that's not what you want being in terms of ult management, but honestly, Rise Nation had an enormously good defense there, and now if Spicy Boys is going to win, they're going to have to do this without their crazy war chest, and they're going to have to do it through Midnight.
Yeah, where is Midnight? He should be post up trying to get a big Graviton as long as he can avoid sickness. He runs to the back line, only ends up taking Take into there, though. The Bionade is not onto the point, so they're going to get healed up through that, and now it looks like Spicy taking this fight.
Well, for one turn another there, the ultimate usage from Rise not on point there. Spicy Boys just getting this through on pure mechanical grit, and it's working out. Spirit on the last desperation Genji here. Dragon Blade out, gets one support, looking for the not able to finish off Lucio, gets pooped back, gets taken out, and here come the Spicy Boys, Hex. This could be it. Last moment Earthshatter coming out here from the side of Rise. They're streaming onto the point, but they're in a big period of disadvantage.
Well, here comes the Sound Bear trying to lock it out. They are just getting all the kills for Spicy Boys to try to close this out. Tig with this whole hog should do just that. They are not going to be in position here. Retsy's going to jump on the cart. There goes Locke, but that should be Spicy Boys taking it. And I will tell you, because Locke was in so far back, Midnight and Locke have combined so well today with Gravitons. The Graviton went up front, but no Bio Grenade went down on it. Everyone healed through that Graviton. They were unable to pick up any kills off it because Locke was about a mile far back, so just not the coordination we've seen from them earlier to win fights off the Graviton.
Yeah, and it was unfortunately a little bit uncharacteristic from Rise at the end, too, where they did have that Graviton from Midnight, and really, Spicy Boys was stuck in the worst of situations. They lost the fight with all their ultimates, and then they won a fight without any ultimates to start things out effectively, and it worked out. Although I will note that even going back to Hollywood, we didn't mention that there was a trend of when it came down to no ults v no ults, you saw a little bit better play coming up from Spicy Boys, where they had just the mechanical side working out for them a bit more, and maybe that it was the real determining factor at the very end.
I mean, Spicy Boys just came very close to throwing away such a first point defense with 4 minutes of instability and indecision with running dive comp without Lucio, and then trying to save for 5 ults, and then losing in the team fight, and Rise putting themselves in position to actually win the map, and then, as you mentioned, not being able to close it home. So both teams playing okay. I think this match again shows that Rise cannot wait for this patch to hit. Like it would be great if it happened last week. They are going to be one of the teams more than others that will benefit greatly.
I couldn't agree more, and I think Rise, I mean, they're a good group of guys. They still had a very good showing here. I feel like what we saw said more to Spicy Boys than it did to any sort of weakness on Rise. Rise had several months where they look good. I agree that next meta, I think they're going to look even better. Spicy Boys, though, a lot of crazy talent on this team, and we're going to get to see them in another great situation here where they can prove their worth, as they're going to be taking on FaZe in our next matchup. And before we cut to break and give thanks to Uber and Hex for the next match, anything you guys want to add on here about this matchup?
No, I mean, I feel a little bit bad for Rise Nation. I think, like, I completely agree with Slasher that it's just a kind of a patch issue that they're just not thrilled with. But when D.Va gets reverted, we'll see if they have a little more success. But at some point, you have to find an answer to the problem. And if that's not D.Va, that's fine. They found the answers to some of the problems a little bit too late because they had to do a little more creative stuff when you're just not running D.Va, who can just straight up shut down a 76.
All right, well, that wraps up our first series of the game. When we come back, we are going to be coming back with Spicy Boys versus FaZe. We'll see how they deal with the new FaZe roster. It's going to be Uber and Hex taking away. I am going to go cough my head off, but we'll be back in just a few minutes.